Hello and welcome to another Making-Music.com software review video, and today we're going to be having a look at the user interface for Spitfire Audio's Symphonic Strings Evolutions. Okay, so what I've done here is opened up the Symphonic Strings Evolutions.nki patch in Contact for the main instrument mics. At the top you see the fairly standard Contact instrument layout for MIDI channels, audio outputs, pan, volume, that kind of thing. And then the main section is dominated by the Spitfire's UI for the Evolutions patch. Now the default patch is opened up as Evolution 1 spread across the keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a triad using this patch just so you can hear what the software is going to do before we go into how you adapt some of the sounds. Okay, so what you heard there was just a straight triad. I wasn't changing any dynamics or expression. They were the samples as recorded, and you could hear how they morphed against each other as they were recorded at slightly different tempos. So they changed and ebbed and flowed and made the strings sound like they were moving. So the main pegboard in the middle is where you start adapting some of the sounds that the software is going to give you. Along the top you have the Evo numbers. These are split into three kind of quite broad articulation kind of setups. So with the yellow pegs, of which there are 20, they are termed under the traditional Evos. Then we go on to the blue section, the blue pegs, which are named as episodic. And then right at the end, the red section, which are the extreme Evos. Each one's recorded a perfect fourth apart. So, for example, we've got the note center E4, which is where the recording will be made, and then a couple of semitones above and a couple of semitones below. It will use the same sample but slightly pitch shifted before we're going on to the next note center. And again, a couple of semitones below, a couple of semitones above. So what the pegboard also does is it controls whether that particular Evo or the set of Evos that you are playing is sent to the effects section over here. It's also an individual volume for each Evo and an individual pan, so that will be separate to the master volume and pan within the Contact instrument. What the pegboard lets you do means that you can choose different Evos for different note centers along the keyboard. As I say, the default patch is all Evo 1, but for example you could split half of your keyboard to play Evo 1 and the other half you could change and have it play Evo 2 instead. You're still in the traditional Evos. You can mix and match if you want to, so you could have half the keyboard play the traditional Evos and then the next half of the keyboard plays some of the episodic. So it's a mix and match kind of system if you want to. So the traditional ones are quite light and the episodic ones start to get a little bit more twisted. So this is what they sound like. As you can hear with the episodic ones, more subtle changes within the Evo itself. Instead of keeping these straight lines, however, what you can do is play random evos. So we'll take different evos for each note center. Do the same with the episodic ones. And you can see down the bottom that's reflected in the key split that Contact shows you which key on your keyboard is going to play which type of articulation. So let's have a listen to this. Finally then on the pegboard, and this is something that I really love about this software, and you can lose hours of your time, so make sure you set some time aside, is that you can get it to randomize the evos for you rather than keep clicking yourself, which is random but it's time consuming. And this little dice icon at the top will bring up a menu, and it will allow randomization over a number of different types of evos and articulations. So randomize with any is going to randomize the whole key bed across all of the three different types of articulation, or as it says, just randomize within the traditional, within the episodic, within the extreme ones themselves. So let's show that, for example. Randomize within the extreme, all the keys go red and all the evos will be from the extreme articulation. So let's have a go. Randomize with any. This will give you randomized evos across the whole key bed from the three different types of articulation, and this is where they come up with the rather ridiculous amount of randomization that you can have here, is that no two random sets of evos are going to be the same, but the interesting thing is here is that you don't know what you're going to get, so that's quite good for random play. So let's hear this. So the last section of this video, we're going to have a look at the mixer. All of the evos across all of the note centers were recorded using 4 different sets of microphones, and they're available to mix and match and use whichever ones you want to within the microphone mixer. So you have the close microphones, so the closest ones to the instruments themselves, the tree, which is a deca tree configuration, a trio of microphones above the conductor's head. You have the ambient microphones, which were high up in the balconies, and then you've got the outriggers, which was a stereo pair set very wide to encompass a large amount of the orchestra and the ambient space itself. The default setting is always with the tree microphones, and that is denoted by the white RAM icon. But you can add, take away as much or as little as you want. Let's have another random Evo just to change this up a little. Randomize with any. So we've got the tree, but if we wanted to, we could introduce close mics as well, take down the tree somewhat, and hear what that sounds like. So it's a much more in-your-face kind of sound. Let's remove the close and the tree, and let's just have the ambient microphones, which are up in the balconies. So we could reintroduce some of the close mics with that and have some of the wide outriggers as well. As you can see though, each time we add, we're adding in more memory into the contact library because it has to start off playing more samples. Or if you really wanted, you could just turn everything on, everything up full for every microphone in every position. So there we have a short introduction to Symphonic Strings Evolution, brought to you by Spitfire Audio. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.